The man who would save thousands of souls lay dying. His doctors whispered one relapse could kill him. But even at death's door, Don Bosco refused to abandon his mission. What happened next would shock even his closest friends. The Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Welcome to the Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco. I'm Adrian Fonseca. These videos exist to share timeless wisdom from St. John Bosco that can transform your spiritual life today. When Don Bosco nearly died in 1846, his illness exposed the true cost of saving souls. You're about to see what happened when 3 dedicated priests tried to replace him and quickly discovered that they couldn't handle what he faced every single day. But first, let me take you back to July of 1846. Don Bosco was dying. The illness hit him hard. So hard that his companions prepared for the worst. He couldn't even get out of bed. He was weak, frail, barely holding on. When the doctor finally allowed him to step outside, he warned, "Be careful. One small relapse could kill you." And right there at death's door, Don Bosco faced a choice. He could give up his mission, rest, protect his health, or he could cling to the calling that God had carved into his soul. Even in his weakness, his heart was on fire for souls. He bought toys and medals to leave behind for the boys. Even dying, he was teaching them how to play and pray in ways that would build discipline and joy. Think about that for a second. Sick, poor, almost dead, and he's still thinking about the souls of the abandoned youth. But here's where things get really intense. While Don Bosco recovered in the countryside, someone had to manage the oratory in Turin. 3 loyal helpers stepped up: the theologian Borel, Father Carpano, and Father Trivero. All dedicated priests, all zealous for souls. You think 3 capable men could handle it, right? They couldn't. These weren't easy children. Many were wild, starving, ragged, some were even suicidal. The priests faced insults, exhaustion, endless needs. They were overwhelmed, and suddenly they understood. They finally grasped what Don Bosco endured every single day. Saving souls isn't romantic. It requires sweat, patience, and relentless sacrifice. Meanwhile, money was impossibly short. Rent, food, chapel, upkeep, it all seemed hopeless. However, Divine Providence never failed. Donations trickled in. Some came from nobles, some from priests, some from unknown benefactors. Every coin was like bread from heaven, sustaining the fragile work. It was delicate, yes, but it was also unstoppable. In August 1846, Don Bosco wrote a letter to the theologian Borel from his family home. He said his health was slowly improving. He enjoyed the fresh air of Castel Nuovo. Walking the hills regained his strength. He gave thanks to God. But in the same letter, he revealed his heart. His thoughts weren't on rest. They were on the oratory, on the feast of the Assumption of Mary, on the boys who had prepared a procession in her honor. Even from his sickbed, he longed to know, how are the boys praying? Are they walking with Our Lady? His illness could have ended his mission before it really started, but God had other plans. God used Don Bosco's weakness to demonstrate his divine power. Those 3 priests learned the price of souls. They experienced firsthand the exhaustion, the mockery, and the endless demands. And when Don Bosco finally returned healthy and strong, they looked at him with new eyes. This wasn't just a priest running an oratory. This was a man who had been chosen by God to carry an impossible mission. And he carried it willingly, joyfully, sacrificially, day after day, year after year. The boys welcomed him home with tears and celebration. The oratory that had teetered on the edge of collapse now stood firm. And Don Bosco, he threw himself back into his work with even greater intensity. His brush with death didn't slow him down at all. In fact, it lit a fire that would burn for the rest of his life. God doesn't waste our weakness. Don Bosco's illness could have destroyed his mission. Instead, God used it to strengthen the Oratory, to raise up helpers, and to prepare Don Bosco for decades more of greater work ahead. What weaknesses in your life is God trying to use right now? Maybe you're facing illness or financial struggles. Maybe you feel completely inadequate for what God's calling you to. Don Bosco felt all of that. And God transformed it into a mission that saved thousands of souls and continues inspiring millions today. You might not be called to run an oratory for abandoned youth. Or maybe you are. But either way, God doesn't let us survive trials for no reason. So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced God using your weakness to accomplish something that you could not have done on your own? Share your story in the comments below. I read every single comment, even if I don't reply to all of them. And your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And before you go, I want to recommend another video that perfectly complements today's message. It's called Mama Margaret's Miracle, Don Bosco's Deathbed Healing Through Bread and Wine. When doctors gave up hope and 24-year-old seminarian Don Bosco lay dying, nobody expected what happened next. Mama Margaret arrived with a simple basket containing bread and wine, and what followed denied all medical explanations. Click on the video on your screen right now to watch that video. St. John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.